Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Maths Made Easy with Terry in 10 minutes. So we're going to be talking about bracket with indices today, all right? The fourth law of indices. Um, Please try as much as possible to review the previous video and make sure you practice questions on it so that you will be very sure about that you understood it. Because as we keep going forward, you will notice that we'll be keep on applying the previous laws to some of the laws here. So it's important that before you move to the fifth law, the sixth law, all the way to the 12th law, make sure you've understood the previous one we've talked about. So currently, we've discussed three, okay? Now we're going to go to the fourth one. So how do you solve question having bracket with indices, all right? So now there are two rules to keep here, all right? There are two rules to keep in mind here. So the first one is that the power outside the bracket will always multiply the powers in the bracket. Is that okay? So the first one to know is that the power, okay, the power outside the bracket will multiply, okay, will multiply the powers in the bracket. So always know that the powers outside the bracket will multiply the powers in the bracket. Now, also, you need to also know that any constants, for example, it could be K, it could be J, like I always use K in my videos, outside the bracket are not affected by the powers, okay? So always know that any coefficients or any constants, all right, outside the bracket are not affected by the power. So also any constants, e.g. K, outside the brackets are not affected by the powers. Okay? So any constant outside the brackets are not affected by the powers. All right, so let's see. I listed this formulas in the first video or the second video of the series. So I said, for instance, a raised to power m multiplied by n. So remember I said the powers outside the bracket will multiply the powers in the bracket. So that means m will multiply n. So that'll be a m times n, and that will give you a mn. Can you see? And also, I told you that the constant outside the bracket are not affected by the powers. So this is going to give you, this will multiply. I'm going to give you K, A, M, N. Can you see? So M will multiply N, but it will not affect K, okay? So the next one is if we have something like AB raised to power N. So remember I told you before, AB the same thing as a raised to power 1, b raised to power 1. If you want to look it like this, are you seeing it? So that means the powers now be 1 times n will give you n. So it's going to be a n b n. Are you seeing it? So you can write it like that if you want to see it that way. And if it has a constant, k a b to the power n is going to give us k a n and b what? N. Is that okay? It'll give you k a n and b n. Now, if for instance you have something like AL and BN, all raised to the power what? M, for instance, you multiply it. So remember the powers are going to be ALM and BNM. Is that okay? And if it has a constant, ALBN raised to the power N, and that will give us K KALM and BNM. Is that all right? So if we pick some examples now, let's pick some examples. All right. some examples to just explain. So if, for example, we have 2 raised to the power 3 multiplied by 2. Are you seeing it? 2 raised to the power 3 multiplied by 2. So it's going to be 2 times 3 will give you what? 2 raised to the power what? 6. If you have, number 2, if you have 5 x raised to the power 3 multiplied by 3, it's going to give us 5 x raised to the power 3 times 3, and that will give you 9. Okay? Now, but if, for instance, you have number 3, you have 2, let's say 3x raised to the power 3. Are you seeing it? So now, yep, 3 raised to the power 3, that is going to be, now this is going to be 2 multiplied by 3 raised to the power what? Remember this, like I said, there's an invisible 1 here. So it's the same thing as saying 3x, 3 raised to the power 1, x raised to the power 1 multiplied by what? 3. So it's going to be 3 raised to the power 3 and x raised to the power what? 3. Are you seeing it? And that will give you 2 raised to the power 3 times 3, 9. 9 times 3, 27. X raised to the power what? 3. Then you open the bracket. This is going to give us 54 x raised to the power 3. So remember, the powers, m is going to multiply each and every one of them. So you can pick up more examples as you want to. So number 4, you can say something like a b raised to the power 3. Okay, it's going to give you a raised to the power 3 and b raised to the power what? 3. Number 5, you can have something like 3, 2 over 3, all raised to the power 3. So the same thing as saying 3, 2 over 3 times 3, and that will give us what? 3, 6 over 3, and that will give us what? 2 for that. All right. Yep, so you can keep on going like that forever and ever, and you get the same thing. The key thing I want you to keep in mind is that when you're solving this question, you need to ensure that the power stays what? You multiply the power outside with the powers what? Inside, okay? And if you have any constant outside that will not be affected by the power, because the powers only affect the numbers or the elements inside the bracket. Is that okay? It only affects the elements inside the bracket. So anything outside the bracket is not being affected by the powers. Is that okay? All right, and that is that for that. So the next one I'm going to go to is going to be law 5, where I'm going to talk about the negative powers. All right, so we'll discuss about that there. And like I said, if you have any question and you're not really sure, please send me an email or put it in the comment section and I'll respond to you. And also, if you've not subscribed, please do so that you can also be the first to get any notifications for the new videos I'm going to upload. So I'm going to see you in the next video where we're going to talk about negative powers.